Hi, welcome to the Children's Literature course. This is just a very quick overview of the course syllabus. You'll want to make sure that you do read it in its entirety. I don't want there to be any kind of surprises. So do take a few minutes to look through everything on your own after this. You can see my contact information there, and so if you have any questions, please feel free to email me or call me, text me. Email is probably the easiest way to get a hold of me. Our course does go through November 24th, and you can see the course description here so you have an idea what the course is all about and the textbook. Hopefully you've already gotten the textbook. And the book holds, remember, but that you can just borrow from a friend or get at the library and so forth. And then here you have the statement of purpose for the teacher education department at MNU and the conceptual framework, and so you'll read through those. Those are the same for any course that you take from our department. So you'll read through that. And then specific learning outcomes for this course. So it's really focused, of course, on children's literature, but we're also incorporating the arts in helping students build knowledge about not just literature, but different content areas. So how can literature and the arts support different learning? We'll be looking at different genres. We'll be looking at different writers and different illustrators. We'll be thinking about how we can enhance students' experiences in the literature by reader response activities. We'll also be looking at culturally responsive text and see, pick a text and make sure that it is appropriate and that sort of thing. And then the spiritual purposes. So to guide us through the course, we have some essential questions. How are the literature and art connected? How can you use literature to reach all students in enjoying literature and learning? And then how does the art enhance both literature and learning in a classroom? The next section is the course schedule and assignments, and this is just a general overview. Each week you'll have a much more detailed agenda that you'll have in Moodle. But this just gives you an idea of what's coming up for the week, so you can kind of look through it and see our 5 weeks. So it gives you the date, the outcomes, the readings that you are to do, and then what the forum may be and any assignments you have. So you can see week by week there. Also remember there is a Zoom session on the 22nd, Tuesday, if you can make it, and we'll go over some course things there and get to know each other a little bit. So I'm hoping you'll all be able to make that. We have another Zoom session during week 5, and so on that we're going to be sharing some of the things that we've done, the wholes reader response activities that you've come up with and so forth. So if you can attend it, that would be wonderful. Okay, so then the course requirements. I've listed here the major assignments that you'll be doing. First off, participation is worth 20% of your grade because you have to be present and participate in the forums. If there's any wikis, do the required readings, and that sort of thing. That's all considered participation and attendance. And then the other 80% is made up of a teacher interview where you'll need to interview 3 teachers. They can be people you know from church, they can be at a practicum, but 3 different teachers, and finding out how they're using literature and the arts in their classroom. Authors past and present, you'll choose 3 authors to highlight and talk about when they wrote, give examples of the books that they wrote, and that sort of thing. And then you'll do the same thing for illustrators, except you'll just do 2 illustrators. I mentioned earlier the reader response activity for wholes. Since we're all reading the same book, we'll know, have a good background on that. And then thinking about how can we connect students with the text. We'll be looking at a book and determining whether it is a culturally relevant text, because some books might look like they are, but then once you really dig into it, you think, that might not be appropriate. Finally, we have a couple of things that you'll be working on throughout the course. The first one is a portfolio entry. Um, you will pick 20 books that show different genres. And again, there'll be much more in-depth explanation of this. But basically, you're going to have different genres you're looking at, and you're going to find a touchstone book for K2 and then one that might be considered a touchstone for 3-6. And what I mean by touchstone is a really good example of that genre. You're going to review it, and you can see there you include the title, the author, illustrator, and so on, how you're going to use it in the classroom, why you consider it a touchstone book, and so forth. And then it gives you the different genres of books that you'll be looking at. So there'll be 2 books per genres, and there's 10 books. So a minimum of 20 books should be included. And then you'll do a genre chart towards the end of the course that you'll talk about that genre and give us more information about it. We'll do it in a Google Doc so you'll be able to see others' entries, and that way you won't have to read every single chapter in your textbook, but your colleagues will be helping you out, and you'll have this document that you can go back and you can refer to. Then the last assignment is the concept exploration, and that assignment is differentiated just a little bit between undergrad and graduate. And basically it's the same assignment, except at the graduate level you're using a concept from science, social studies, or math, just like undergrad, but at the graduate level you're also incorporating the arts. And so how would you incorporate the arts? And we'll again talk, there'll be a lot more detail, but you're going to be coming up with different texts that you'll be using to support a concept and a standard, and different activities for whole group, small group, individual, culminating activities, and so forth. The next section of the syllabus is the assignments and the grading overview, so you can see when things are due, how much they're worth, and that sort of thing. And then finally we come down to the course policies, and you can see the style, honesty policy. If you have any questions, please look at the handbook about that. Late work, please just turn everything in on time, and then we don't have to worry about it. But if you do turn it in late, it is 10% off per day. And so just turn things in on time that we don't have that problem. If there is some unavoidable circumstances, please let me know in advance, and I will work with you. So communication is the key there. If you need papers, I keep them for about a year. So just to know that. Also, if you haven't already, take advantage of the Maybe Learning Commons. It's a great resource at MNU. So make sure that you're using the library, that you're using the tutoring, the Academic Success Center, and so forth. If you do have any special accommodation needs, make sure that you have talked to the Academic Success Center and have all the documentation. And finally, TaskStream. You've probably turned some things into TaskStream already. The concept exploration assignment is what you'll need to turn into TaskStream for this course, to let you know that. Make sure at the end of the course I'll put a link and do the course evaluation. It really, really helps me make the course better for the next time. For example, for the portfolio entry, the students used to have to include 50 books. And because of feedback, now it's 20. So it really does make a difference, and I really do appreciate your feedback. And then finally, we just end with the Kansas Educator Code of Conduct, so make sure you take time to read through that. Okay, that's just a real quick overview. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thanks so much for listening.